Yo, I had a teacher when I was young that brought some of his friends in to do like a career day at my school, and one of them was a fashion designer, and one of them was like a publicist. And I hollered at both of them afterwards, and the fashion designer, actually the publicist, was like, "Yo, you should come meet up with me at this, like, I think it was like a convention for Von Dutch, and like a little meetup." And so I went to that, and then she was like, "Yo, you ever worked with Adobe Illustrator?" And I was like, "Nah, what is that?" Like, I used to just draw shit. And she got me like a cracked version of Adobe Illustrator. My mind went crazy, like, imagine high school, ninth grade, you get Adobe Illustrator in a time when Adobe wasn't really like as accessible, and my entire world like opened up. I do everything off of Adobe Illustrator now. Like, I'll design my crib off Adobe, you know. So, from there it just became sort of like this design your life type of thing, and and I just let my imagination run. You know what I mean? I just let myself, like, I designed everything. I started throwing parties. I was designing my own flyers. You know what I mean? I was designing T-shirts to go with it. I was designing album art for my homies. Everything. Man, I'm one of those people that's left brain and right brain. So I think it's a constant struggle with me. Just because I'm also a Virgo, so we can go full throttle on anything. And so when I'm left, I'm left all the way. When I'm right all the way. So I need to like really compartmentalize in my head and in my life what space I'm in, where I'm operating from. So, my whole team understands that too. Like, everybody around me has to understand, like, when bro is on this, he's in that space, kind of let him be. I kind of have like a completely separate creative space and studio that's just for the creative. And then I have, the office that's for like the work, the business. But it took time to get even there to understand that about myself and just accept that about myself, that like I'm a little bit different. I'm not your just traditional designer or just your traditional entrepreneur and business owner. So, but now I'm at that space where having that separation has allowed me to just know where I need to go, when I need to go there, and sort of get these ideas off or go, handle this. I think both the creativity and the business side came out of necessity. Like, out of necessity, I became a hustler. Out of necessity, I became a designer because I couldn't communicate my ideas. So when I had Adobe Illustrator, I was like, yo, this is what I'm trying to say. I can see the shit clear as day. This is what I'm trying to make, and then shit, out of necessity, same thing. I was selling weed, doing this, that, and the other just to pay for T-shirts and parties, And so, I think, I don't think anything steered me away from creativity, but, it, I think the, being both left and right brain is a little bit of a challenge. You know what I mean? And I don't think most people are that type of, I don't think that's for everybody, but like I said, you can lean a little too hard left or a little too hard right, and sort of neglect this like magic of having both. That's probably like the ego versus the, like the spirit, right? Like, for me, it's just like the ego battle has worked to get me to continue to work and produce and create at the level that I do, you know. But that's personal, you know what I mean? It's not really me versus anybody. You know, it's not like, it's really me versus me, you know. But the spiritual side is like, it's kind of what wakes me up every day, just to be like, yo, like it's part of the practice too. You know, it's like, it's the duality. It's the business versus the creative, you know, it's the light versus the dark, you know, it's like the duality of the two sort of balance themselves out. And yeah, I mean, like I said at the beginning, it's complex, you know what I mean? It's like, it's a complex process. You one of the coldest motherfuckers out, like niggas can't fuck with you. You know, and then on the other side, it's like, you know, I'll be, you know, I'll do something dope, and I have to really psych myself out not to get too hype about it. You know what I mean? Like, in the same breath, I'll do something fire, and I'll be like, man, these niggas ain't fucking with me. You know what I mean? Like, I'll trick myself to think that people don't fuck with me, you know, or that people aren't fucking with the work, just that I can challenge myself to go harder and do better, you know. I don't ever get too comfortable in like, in, you know, the glory. You know, for me, it's always like the work. Like, I look for the resistance now, you know. I look for the challenges. Like, I go towards the dark, you know. So it's just part of my process. It's part of everything that I do. I'm like, where have I not been? What have I not done? You know, let me shift anybody's thinking about what we do, you know, and you know, it's just another way to hype yourself up, you know what I mean, and get just to like hit that switch, just to go into savage mode, you know. So it's worked for me since I was young, you know what I mean? Like, I always took a non-traditional route, you know, like I'm a little brother, you know, I have a big brother, you know what I mean? So even just that in itself is like a constant sort of pressure or challenge, or, you know, somebody pushing against you, you know. So, you know, even when I was young, I was quick to pop off, you know, and I was just that dude. So that being built into my day-to-day, you know, creative process is like, it's more of like a mental psyche, to where I'm like, I don't know, it just works. It works for me, you know what I mean? It just works for me to kind of trick myself into challenging myself to go harder. You got to believe in yourself enough to put your own money down. You know what I mean? You got to believe in yourself enough to roll the dice and bet all on yourself. You know, and that's always been me. Like, I worked at Coffee Bean for 2 weeks. Outside of that, I never worked for anybody in my life. You know, so everything I've always done, it's always been with my own money, betting on myself and doubling down, even when it might not look like it was gonna work. And so, you know, I think being being that type of entrepreneur allows you to take your own risk and sort of live and die with your decisions. You know, luckily now that I've just proven that like my decisions and my ideas are valid and you know what I mean, have proven to be lucrative, you know, then you get people that believe in you and start to join your team, you know, and I got a whole like solid team of individuals that support that and trust it. They're like, nah, you know, if he's saying this and he's feeling this way and he's trusting it, like, you know, they get behind me. To get to this point, you know, I just rehired a lady who, you know, had worked with me early on when I was probably like 20 years old. I just hired her now to work with me, you know, and she came to the office and was in tears, because she like, wow, like you really said you was about to do this, Like she was working with me when I had a fold out desk in my ex-girlfriend's living room, And she came to the office the other day and seeing the operation, and she like broke down into tears, just happy for me, and I think that's can be miraculous to people, because sometimes a lot of us don't always understand our ability to create, and I believe that we're put on this earth to be creative. And so, to create something from nothing, to bring something new that, whether it's it's not necessarily innovative, but the fact that you created something that, feeds people's families and, just by putting it down on paper, is it's almost, it's delusional in the sense that you have to see it so clear when it's not there. It was important to open the flagship on Slauson because as a kid, I didn't see that, Like I didn't see any dope, fly retail stores in my neighborhood. I had to go to Fairfax to see that. And I know what Fairfax did for a lot of kids, So, I felt like, why not just go straight to the source, go straight to the place that loves me the most, loves what I do the most, and be that example for them, to create something new, like, or to add to the legacy that already exists, but to create, a fashion, a clothing store, right there on Slauson, like, it's just it's a spark, It's a seed that could be planted, like that, that lady that came to me at the school and handed me Adobe Illustrator, Now look how many people I've impacted, So imagine what all those people can go off and do. I always say Supervsn is an energy company, Like, I don't care about clothes like that. I have ideas and visions for it, but it's really about like the uniform and the energy that we put into it, that when somebody else puts it on, they feel good. They feel confident. When they walk down the street, my favorite piece of feedback is like, yo, I wore this shirt and 5 people stopped me today, complimenting me, asking me, did I know you? Did I know the brand? Just like bigging up what it says. Like, that's the feeling that I feel like we're giving to our customers, is like acknowledgement, to be seen, to feel good. So, I think that's why I do it, Like I think there's this underlining thing about Supervsn that's just like, you could do it too. Hopefully I'm an example to the next kid, that grew up in South Central, that could be like, I'm gonna be like, bro, but I'm gonna do it this way, my way. I'm gonna do it better, And I think the piece that just lasts is like doing it with intent and doing it with purpose, so that it's a memory, It becomes something that, like, that feeling of going to Disneyland with your pops, Like that feeling of feeling loved, or feeling like somebody made something for you or did something for you. Like, that's how I feel when I'm making a Supervsn sweatshirt or a hat or a piece. It's like, I'm making it for you, like, to feel good in this, And that's the art form of it, Nip said that, like, we gotta change how we react to disrespect, Like, we can't, that's gonna happen. You're gonna be disrespected for sure, like I said, when I was young, I was the one. You know what I mean? I was popping off quick. Like, everybody knows that about me, you know? But through doing the work, like the spiritual work, the internal work, like, I'm able to take a beat and, like, think twice before I react, you know? So I'm not, this is not new. This didn't just come out the sky, you know what I mean? I had, like, a younger, darker side, you know what I mean? But, like, I had to do the spiritual work, man. Like, my blessings were getting blocked, you know? And I had to really, like, check myself, you know? Like, I had to decide if I was going to go left or right. I think it's interesting how close meditation is to prayer. Man, yoga, you know? I had a girlfriend when I was young. She was like, man, you need to go to yoga. You know, like, you're a little too, brolic. You need to go and just, like, calm down. I had to go to therapy, you know? My grandmother was, like, big on therapy. And working out, all of these things. Like, I do all of them, to manage and maintain. And then you also sometimes just, like, manage your bandwidth, you know? I think if you don't manage your bandwidth, you can just operate at, like, a level of, instability. It's like a car that's, like, about to overheat, and that light is blinking. Like, you need to go figure out what's wrong, Stop pushing it to the limit every time, every day, and just, like, manage it's what they say, it's a marathon, right? So it's not a sprint. My grandmother started paying for me to go to therapy when I was young. And she didn't have money like that, but she was like, if I'm gonna do anything for them, I'm gonna pay this therapy bill, and make sure that they go. And I think that gave me and my brother a completely different understanding of ourselves. I think, like, I don't know when I realized it, but I definitely got older and I looked back and I was so thankful for that. I think when you, I think when you, like, go through things and you see things and, you start to, like, peel back the layers, you realize, like, it's some dark shit sitting inside of you that you haven't addressed. That's not normal, like, a lot of kids that grew up in the hood have seen shit, have experienced shit that's not normal at all. It's actually really sad, that we think is normal and that we think is something that, like, okay, one time, okay, twice, 3 times, like, you start to be like, dang, like, I'm peeling that. I had to talk to my therapist about it, and it was like, he was like, why you keep blowing over that? Like, why you keep just talking about, losing your homie, losing your cousin, losing your pops, getting shot at, fighting, doing all, why are you just telling me these stories, like, and just breezing over this moment, and it was like, it was in that moment I realized, like, damn, like, that's not something that's heavy, Those are real heavy pits that just kind of sit in your stomach, but you don't even realize it. I don't cry a lot, but I think I could count on one hand, like, the few times that, like, it just came out of me, when my daughter was born. When my daughter was born, recently, just, well, I'll say when my daughter was born, like, that was probably one of the most beautiful moments of my life. to see like another human, like a new life come out of a human, you know, to see a heartbeat like start, you know, it's kind of crazy. And to see the fact that like we can create that, that women can, you know, create that is when I really like, it was like, oh wow, like we're put on this earth to create, you know, and God is real, you know what I mean? And so, yeah, I think that was probably one of the most like emotional times in my life. I never cried out of joy. Like I never. It was kind of wild. My mom was there in the room, and I bugged out. I looked at her like, "What the hell is this?" You know, like I never had tears of joy in my life, and so it was kind of wild to be happy and have like tears pouring down your eyes. It was beautiful. It's a funny story, man. The day we dropped the Union collab, you know, the internet was going crazy. It was like the day we announced it. And my son, who was probably like 2, 3 at the time, I'm looking at my phone, seeing the shit go crazy. And my son is like, right at that time, he like bent over and handed me a paper towel to wipe his ass, you know? And it just was one of those moments where I was like, yeah, like don't get your head too big, you know, like you still gotta wipe this nigga's ass, you know? And so that's what parenting will do. You know, it'll remind you like you have a more important job to do. I think we hold on to memories, and as we get older, we're able to look back and sort of process them and understand them. And I think that we hold on to traumatic memories and we hold on to like joyful memories, you know, and I think it's my job to at least make sure that my kids have good memories to hold on to inspire them and not as many traumatic memories, you know. Although those things are our lessons, I think it's we don't always have to operate from trauma. You know, I think we can operate from love. My pops, you know, one day was taking me to school and he was like, yo, he was about to drop us off at school and he was like, yo, y'all want to go to school today? And we were like, nah. It must have been like 3rd grade, 4th grade, something like that. He was like, nah. And we just went to Disneyland. You know what I mean? Like me, my pops, and my brother on a day when you like, man, I'm about to have to go to school today. He like, nah, we going to Disneyland. We're like, what? I'll never forget that day. You know what I mean? Probably one of the most like happiest days of my life, you know? And how often you get to go to Disneyland with your pops, you know? Like for full day, you know? He worked a lot, so it was cool for him to do that. It's hard for a mother to like, I mean, I was risky, you know what I mean? Like I risked it all. I didn't go, there was no plan B, you know? So like for a mother to tell their son like, yeah, that's the right way to go is challenging, you know what I mean? So I think in her heart, she believed in me, but I think out of her mouth, it was hard for her to say, yeah, drop out of school. You know what I mean? That's the right choice, you know? And so she, I think, supported me to the best of her abilities, but I was also super independent in a way that I was like, nah, don't even trip. Like, you know, like I knew the type of things that would show her I'm straight, you know? And I think it was always something for me to just sort of go back to her and prove that to her, or even to, she was one of those people, she wasn't like a naysayer, but just to prove to her, like, you don't want to make your peoples proud, So, and so the relationship now is funny because she can be proud, you know what I mean? She can walk around. She probably wears supervision head to toe every day, like every day. And, I got to tell her sometimes, get out the store, you know what I mean? Because she be in the store so heavy, just like talking to people, trying to sell people clothes, But like, I know that's because she loves me and she loves what we do, and she's proud. Hell yeah, I'm proud of myself, man. Like I told you, I bet it all, man. You know what I mean? I bet it all on me. And I'm comfortable, you know what I mean? I take care of my family like I'm good, and I'm blessed. Like I have everything I need, I have everything I need. And I'm proud of myself for like just doing it the right way, Like I'm proud of myself for not ever doing no weird shit. I'm proud of myself for never selling out. And when I say selling out, is doing something that I don't believe in. I'm proud of myself for, empowering the people around me as I do it. I'm proud of myself for, continue to show up for my community and let them see me and let them see like what it's supposed to look like. Hell yeah, I'm proud of myself, man. Like this shit is a long time coming. You know what I mean? Like I said, I've been really hustling since I was like 16 years old, Like the minute I got a car, I was active. You know what I mean? I was selling anything I can get my hands on, So it's like, shit, I bought my first car actually, just, hustling. Like, so, it's hell yeah, I'm proud of myself, man. You know what I mean? I got a nice crib. I got a nice car. You know what I mean? Like I said, my kids go to good schools. They have what they need. Man, what's not to be proud of, I looked up the definition of creativity one time, and in there it says something about the opposite of creativity is death, And it's like, that's what we're here for. We're here to add to the conversation. We're here to add to the world. We're here to place stores where they don't exist. You know what I mean? We're here to put things into the world that the world needs, or you see opportunity to place it there. And I know if you do that, like, the universe will reward you. Know yourself and believe in yourself, but you got to know yourself, your true self, not the layers of you that's been hurt or that doesn't trust people. I think when you really do the work to know yourself and peel the layers back, like, you got God in your heart. You know what I mean? You really got God inside you. So the more you can tap into that and stay as close as possible to the source, the more you're going to create, and God is going to bless you, and you're going to be protected through thick and thin. You know what I mean? Through the ups and the downs. We all have them. Trust me, I'm not sitting here unscathed. I'm not sitting here like my shit is peachy. It's not, but I know with my belief and with my commitment to like what I do and how I do it, like me and God, we unfuckwittable. You know what I mean? Like, you really can't fuck with us. And that's a fact.